However, it's explained that Disney currently has a plan to fire Kathleen Kennedy sometime during this year of 2020, where it's noted that Disney is down to 3 different candidates that will replace Kennedy and that they are in the process of choosing who will be the one to take over Kennedy's role as head of Lucasfilm. Now, Disney is said to have a plan to fire Kathleen Kennedy lightly, where it won't be publicly revealed that she is getting let go, and that it will be demonstrated that she is stepping down. Though ironically, Kennedy also wants to leave Lucasfilm since she no longer has creative control over the existing Star Wars projects in the early development phase. By Q3 of 2020, Disney plans to make a final decision out of the three candidates of who will replace Kennedy sometime in Q4 of 2020 that will go into full effect in early 2021 next year once the new year begins. Now, it's noted that currently the new Disney CEO is cleaning up house over at Lucasfilm by bringing in new creators for the future of Star Wars, where it's explained that Lucasfilm is getting ready to replace Kathleen Kennedy with a brand new president for the company by the new Disney CEO Bob Chapek, who is said to now have an actual candidate for the new president of Lucasfilm. Now, it's noted that this plan is set to go into effect sometime in late 2020, and that Kathleen Kennedy has actually met with Bob Chapek about who will be replacing her as the head of Lucasfilm. Now, it's noted that this plan by Disney is to ensure that the Star Wars brand can live on to be very successful and to be the best it can be without Kathleen Kennedy's poor leadership skills. This is said to also be in response to the actual poor box office results from The Rise of Skywalker and how the movie did not make anywhere near as much as The Last Jedi's, and that by halting Kathleen Kennedy's power over creative choices as the first step, the next step is by replacing her with a new candidate that was actually chosen by Disney's Bob Chapek that will change the Star Wars brand as we know it. Now, it's explained that behind the scenes, many changes have been made over at Lucasfilm, where it's noted that the Disney CEO Bob Chapek has come to a decision where he is going to have the ability to fire Kathleen Kennedy from Lucasfilm earlier than her contract expires. It's said that Chapek already has his lineup of candidates for the new president of Lucasfilm, and that even though Kathleen Kennedy is willing to leave Lucasfilm very soon, Chapek is described to have a plan to fire her very soon, later this year, that will go into full effect sometime next year. It's said that Kathleen Kennedy has known that this was coming and in the talks for a while now, and that her stepping down voluntarily was going to be her cover-up story as to why she was leaving Lucasfilm. Now, though Chapek is not firing Kennedy this instant, the plan is to let her go later this year in 2020. That will go into full effect sometime in 2021, with George Lucas taking over temporarily on the business end of things for the Star Wars franchise before Chapek chooses his permanent solution. It's explained that as of right now, Bob Chapek is developing a plan for George Lucas to replace Lucasfilm's Kathleen Kennedy temporarily for the beginning of 2021 to handle what is being described as the first 2 phases of the Star Wars universe that will span the entire decade of the 2020s. Lucasfilm's Kathleen Kennedy is said to be leaving Star Wars and Lucasfilm sometime in 2021 next year, and that a lot of this has to do with Disney CEO Bob Chapek pushing for Kennedy to leave earlier than expected, and that she is essentially fired from the Star Wars franchise, and that this will go into full effect next year. Creator George Lucas is said to be set to take over Lucasfilm temporarily before the permanent solution will be applied by Bob Chapek, where he still has 3 permanent candidates to take over the role as president. So let's tap into this for just a second. In case you guys did not know about this massive change that's happening right now, is that Bob Chapek has currently 3 candidates, one of which is going to be Jon Favreau, for the permanent solution of who's going to become the official president of Lucasfilm after Kathleen Kennedy leaves. However, in a recent interview with a Disney spokesperson, the spokesperson was eventually questioned about Kathleen Kennedy getting fired from Lucasfilm. Now, at one point in time, the Disney spokesperson was able to state that I feel that this is a very confrontational question and that it is a bit of an unprofessional one to ask about Miss Kennedy. However, it is something that many of those associated with Disney have been talking about for the past number of weeks now. The spokesperson also reveals that we know that a large portion of the fan base does not support Kathleen Kennedy and her impact on the Star Wars brand, and that it does stand for her. However, the spokesperson eventually unveiled that the board members did in fact have talks about finding a new replacement for Kathleen Kennedy in the near future, as Mr. Chapek suggested. However, those conversations won't be more serious until the fall or early 2022. Meanwhile, behind the scenes and separate from all of this, it's described that Disney is planning to actually get rid of Kathleen Kennedy by sometime in 2022 in order to focus on creating better Star Wars material